Hello, welcome back, Box1 here, and today we're going to be looking at this. This is a very cool Connect set that I recently acquired for $4.25, and it is set 32003 from 1999. It comes with 375 pieces and 20 models you can build. Now, I'm not going to be showing them all here because it would probably be an hour-long video, but I am going to show you two, as well as all the cool pieces you get in this very nice building set. First of all, we can take a look at the box. The box is pretty interesting, and usually I don't take a big look at boxes, but I think it's kind of cool, this one. Now, the back is very simple, but it does show some more of the models on it, so you can see that, as well as the instructions there, color-coded instructions, and you can also see some other interesting builds right there. Now, what you may have noticed also is it has a carrying handle at the top, using the inside and the outside of the box, to actually make it very stable and not open at all. But speaking of, this is a very interesting opening for a box. It doesn't open out one of the sides. It flips open, and it's a little bit hard because I'm doing it with one hand, but it opens up just like that. A very cool box, and you can see some of the pieces inside. I actually have one of the models built off to the side, so you can see that. But it has this very nice single instruction manual with 20 whole builds inside. It also has them numbered, and their page number here, in the actual beginning of the instruction manual, as you can see. It also has this little thing, like kind of an introduction to Connects in a couple languages, actually. So it's basically like a building set for beginners, you could say. It also has a very nice parts list, which I should have looked at before I actually started this video. I didn't even know this was there. I just opened it up and just saw this now. But it has a very nice parts list with all the parts you get in this set. And there's some pretty cool ones in here that you don't see very often, such as these bendy pieces. These actually bend, which is very interesting. But you can see here some of the builds, and it actually shows you, as I said, all of where they are. So we're going to be looking at each of them individually in the instructions, and then I'm going to show you two of them built. And this is the first one, Spike. Very interesting. This is the simplest one. They get harder as you go on. And as you can see, to build these guys, they're very simple. These ones you can just look at off the page here, and they don't give you any instructions for. These are the three simplest ones. But then you get on to the ones with the actual instructions. And these instructions are very complicated. And I don't think a 6-year-old would have a good time doing these. But this is recommended for 6+. So, yeah. Connect's instructions are very confusing. They always have been and probably always will be. Granted, I don't have any of the newer sets, but yeah, very confusing instructions. This one is for the Ferris wheel. You can see what that looks like, actually. And that was also on the box. It is a very, very cool build from this set. But we can flip to the next page. We're just going to be flipping through things. We get the Galaxy Scout, a mini carousel, which is kind of interesting, a Dizzy Clown, which is a very weird-looking build. I don't even know what to say about it. A space car, which is the other build we'll be looking at later. A fighter jet, which is also really, really cool, so that's very nice. A dinosaur with some of those bendy parts. The Road Ripper, which looks like some sort of construction vehicle. Very cool, actually. We also have the Stomper, which, yeah, if it'll focus, which it really hates to do, that's a weird one. I don't know what to say about that. I think you can move the legs and it stomps. Interesting. We also have the Astro Car, which is actually really cool looking as well. The Buggo, which is just a bug, and that's honestly kind of interesting as well. I actually like most of these builds here. Of course, you gotta have a 4x4 pickup truck. I mean, what set is complete without one? You also get what's called the Rough Rider. It's kind of like a Jeep or a dune buggy or something like that. A very interesting fire truck with a hose or maybe one of those cranes on the top that goes up, the bucket trucks. A truck with suspension, which is kind of nice, using those pieces again that are bendy. The Alpha Copter, which is the build we'll look at first. And finally, the most complicated build, the tow truck. Now, as I said, we're going to be looking at two of them, the helicopter and the space car. Just to show you what they kind of look like built and how complicated these models actually are. And as I said, The first one we'll be looking at is the Alpha Copter. Now you may notice it is missing two pieces. Two of these purple bendy pieces I don't have. I only have two that came with this, so that's unfortunate. But they would go right here, and you can see on the box, or you could have seen earlier, that they just make up kind of a cockpit, but they don't detract too much from it, and I think it still looks pretty good. As you can see at the front, it uses this very nice panel piece here to give it some shape, as well as some panel pieces on the side to, again, shape it out and just give more, I guess, closing, I guess, to it, because these pieces are very open, so it just kind of closes up and makes it look pretty cool and complete. You also get these pods on the side, which kind of look like military rocket pods. They spin, so maybe it's a military helicopter. Kind of cool. It also has this very nice landing gear, which these red pieces here, for the, whatever you'd call them, the bottom pieces. I guess that would just be the landing gear. Whatever, I don't know how to speak. We get onto the tail, we'll look at the rotor, the big top rotor first, which does spin. But the tail's pretty simple. It just has these big pieces coming out, and then a little rotor on the back, which also spins very well. Now the top rotor's pretty interesting. It makes use of those purple bendy pieces, and makes a very nice two-rotor design. Now, it has very little friction here. It's actually only held on by this top gear, which is above it. So if you spin it, it spins quite well and quite long, especially if you don't smack down one of the pieces, which are kind of loose on there, as you can kind of see. Oop, I'm spinning again. These kind of move up and down, so you do have to be careful about that, but it spins really well. This is one of the more complex builds of the set, and it was very fun to create. It probably took me about half an hour to 45 minutes, just because it does take a long time with these Connect sets. The instructions are very complicated, and yeah, very cool though. A very nice helicopter. Wish I had those bendy pieces, but I think it looks pretty good without it even. Definitely recognizable. Anyway, let's get on to the second build, the space car. And as you can see, building this thing was not easy. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in step 1 to 5 on the same page. So yeah, and then step 6 to 9 is pretty simple, but that's crazy. I did get it done though, and for reference, it took me about 30 minutes to complete, maybe a little bit more even. So yeah, doing all 20 of these would not be time efficient for me. It would probably take a day for me to do or probably 2 or 3 days to do every single model. But yeah, it's a very nice little car build. It has one wheel at the front, 2 wheels at the back, which is a very cool design. It also has these wings on either side. It is a space car after all, and this little spoiler in the back, which does have some looseness. You can also just clip 2 of these either on the inside or on the outside, and that'll kind of stop it. But in the instructions, this is how it is. It does use these bendy pieces again, which are very, very cool, and I really like that metallic, sparkly purple color. I think that's a really cool look. But yeah, very simple. I bet you're wondering how it moves pretty freely and pretty well on the ground, which is always a thing that Connects does well. They make it very, very nice and very, very smooth with their official builds here. Before we go though, I do want to show you some other pieces that are cool in the set that I didn't show off earlier, such as these. Now this is one of those big pieces, just like the red one you saw, and then also the blue one you may have seen on the car. Those are very cool, but you do get one in black, which is quite a bit larger and connects at 4 points. You also get these little pieces, which are also used for heads on minifigures for Connects, or figures, I guess. And these are actually semi-transparent. They are translucent, I guess you could call them, so you can slightly see through them. It's kind of hard to see on camera because the light kind of blocks that out, but they are, like that neon pink, which is kind of cool as well. You get a gear in this set. You also get this very weird wheel, which I've never seen before. You get 3 of those, and you also get a bendy version of this orange piece, which is kind of cool, so you can bend those very nicely. But yeah, that's basically it. I do hope you enjoyed. Although I didn't build all 20 of these things, I just wanted to show you a very cool little Connect set that I recently got, and this isn't technically an official review of it, but I really like it. I really like this set. I think it's really cool, and has some very cool little builds for it as well. So, I do hope you enjoyed. I shall see you next time, where we'll be looking at probably something Lego, and I guess I'll see you then. Goodbye.